Have you ever seen a plant that was dying? A tomato that nobody had watered, so the vine is spindly, the leaves are all withered and dropping. Most of them have fallen off. There are just a few hanging on for dear life, and the fruit is not going to make it because it requires a strong, vibrant, flourishing vine in order to support that fruit so that that fruit can grow. It's good to have you with me today on Paint a Beautiful Picture. We are going to talk about a flourishing family. I'm going to start right off with the challenge question today. Is my family flourishing? You can tell because there's vibrancy, life, enthusiasm, joy, laughter, the freedom to cry, the freedom to express anger, the freedom to express sorrow or frustration, liberty, the ability to actually live and live fully. If that doesn't exist, if the vine is dying, if there hasn't been any water, adequate amounts of sun, too much harsh sun, adequate amounts of nourishment, then it's not going to be flourishing. At your household, is it really okay for your kids, for your spouse, to express themselves freely? You know, I'm really cranky today. I'm really sad today. Wow, when you said this, I was so angry, and I'm still angry. When this happened, I was so frustrated. Is someone literally allowed to express their emotions? Not inappropriately blast them all over you, take them out on you. Express them. Oh, and in doing so, receive support. I can see how that was really hard for you. I'm so sorry that you're feeling sad today. Put your arms around them, let them cry, feed them a bowl of ice cream. You know, they're having a wonderful, marvelous, great, excellent, extraordinary day. You can get outside of yourself enough to rejoice with them and sing hallelujah with them and have a party with them and make cupcakes to celebrate. Yeah. Are you flourishing? When your child or your mate expresses an idea radically different from your own, do you rejoice? Do you celebrate them? Are they allowed the liberty, the freedom to express themselves and to have a different opinion and go about something differently with a different sort of enthusiasm, with support and strengthening and great love and acceptance behind them? Because that isn't usually the norm. There's usually a lot of pushback and defensiveness. And I don't know where you ever got an idea like that. And I'm just telling you, the longer you sit with people and you listen to people, there is not a lot of flourishing going on in some people's houses. And so then people wonder why their kids grow up and they have all this dysfunction, since we just talked about this a week and a half or so ago. They have all this frustration. They sometimes outright rebel because there wasn't love and acceptance and kindness and support. So it's like, forget you people. I am out of here and I'm going to go do whatever I feel like doing because you're not going to be supportive to me no matter what anyway. That's really the opposite of flourishing. Okay. When you cut yourself off from that life-giving vine, there's not much to give you life. Lots of parts of your world die. And so in that pushing away, I'm not talking about a normal seeking after independence. I'm talking about real rebellion of just forget you people and I'm out of here. And all this hate and anger and bitterness and resentment. Yeah, that's not a life. That's not flourishing. There's nothing joyful or wondrous in that. So if you want to have a flourishing family, you need a couple of things. One, you really do need love. And I'm talking unconditional love. Not, I will love you when you clean up your room, follow all the instructions of the house, get straight A's, act like a star athlete, do great things as a ballerina or an actress. Then I'm going to love you. But until then, I'm going to withhold and I'll, sort of, kind of, but yeah, you got to do certain things before I'm going to love you. No, I mean unconditional love. And let's get this straight. Unconditional love does not mean accepting someone else's junk. In other words, you really love your spouse, but they're out in the streets all the time and they're bringing you home syphilis and other junk that just because they can't be faithful. That's not unconditional love. There is such a thing as a boundary, and you go, this cannot happen in this relationship. If it does, you and we're not together anymore. And that's not my choice. That's a decision you are making. And I'm just in agreement with you about this because I'm not going to live with this. But unconditional love to your child, unconditional love to your spouse, when you're struggling, when you accidentally fall down. I mean, one time is a whole lot different than a life pattern, you understand. When you're really not sure, when you're feeling insecure, when you're scared, when you're disappointed, when you're frustrated, I love you just exactly the same. When you bring home your report card with straight D's and a couple F's on there, because for whatever reason, in the past 3 or 4 months, you have been fighting like crazy with a lot of internal stuff that you haven't even told me about yet. Rather than your usual B's and A's, I still love you just exactly the same. Not based on your performance, but based upon my commitment to you, my valuation of you as a human being, my respect for you. That's an environment where a family can flourish. So love. Then respect. Men tend to need respect more, although I've got to tell you that I'm a person who needs a lot of respect. If I'm going to talk to you and pour out my heart to you and work alongside of you, but you're going to be disrespectful of me, yeah, I'm going to speak up because I can't handle that well at all. And oftentimes people who have no self-respect, they can't respect you. That's just a little ding, ding, ding for you to pay attention to. Those people who have no respect for you whatsoever, a lot of times it's not so much about you as it is about themselves. They don't have any self-respect, so they don't have any give to you. But it's still appropriate to say to someone, I do not appreciate you disrespecting me. But in an environment of respect, then families can flourish. I'll reiterate a policy I had when my sons were teenagers. I did not go into their rooms. I did not snoop through their stuff. It was their space, and it was their business. I didn't clean their rooms. I didn't change their sheets. I certainly didn't wash them. I didn't even clean their bathroom. That was their space, and that was their responsibility. Oh, and what do you know? They did. They washed their clothes. They washed their sheets. They made their bed. They kept their room in a certain state. I didn't go in there. It wasn't my business. I respected them. They respected me too, and they still do, and I still respect them. I will share with you again when my son got married. I told my daughter-in-law the first time I ever went to her house, I said, I will do the laundry the way you say. I will cook what you ask me to. I will buy what you want me to buy. I will take care of your children the way you say, because this is your home. And I did, and I have for over 25 years. That's respect, okay? You need to have respect for the differences, for who your child and who your mate is. They're not you. They aren't like you. You need to respect that. You have love. You have respect. And I'm going to use this language because I think it's very critical in today's world. Courtesy. People are just plain rude. I was standing in a store the other day. I'd been standing in line about 6 or 7 minutes. There was a cashier that was particularly slow. I don't know what that was about, but oh well. So I was the third person in line. The guy in front of me had like 2 items. I had 4. A cashier opened up another one, and there was a guy in back of us that had this buggy full of stuff, and he goes racing over there. That was plain rude. He'd been there 30 seconds. We'd been there, I'd probably been there 6, and the other guy'd been there 7 or 8, but he goes running over there. Man, that was just flat out rude. And oh my word, even with that entire buggy full of stuff, he was out of there before I was. Yeah, that was rude. Our society doesn't have much courtesy in it. In your home, in order to have a flourishing family, I'm encouraging you to just have simple courtesy. That means you say please, thank you are welcome, and you ask. Now, I have to tell you, because of the manner in which I grew up with pretty incredibly abusive people, I have a tendency to say, do this, please. It is the way I say it far too often. And my son will call me on it like crazy. He said, Mom, that wasn't a question. You are absolutely right. I am so very sorry. Will you please? And courtesy is they have the option of yes or no. If you don't mean it in that manner, then you do need to state it. I need you to blank, please. That's very appropriate to a child. Honestly, even to a teenager, sometimes your mate. I need you to take this trash out this evening, please. That's still courteous, but a little more emphatic, or perhaps we'll call it directional. In other words, it's not a request. Would you please consider, but I need you to. That's different language. And still, it can be courteous. All right. I don't want to give you tons of things. I want you to have this concept in your mind, and I want you to look at the fact, is my family flourishing or not? And if it isn't, what can I do to contribute to the people around me flourishing? It is amazing what kindness, grace, forgiveness over mistakes or problem areas, great affection, and respect can do to help those around you flourish and grow and develop and bear strong fruit, be their very best, most productive, fruitful self. Thank you so much for being with me today on Paint a Beautiful Picture. You may find additional information on our paintabeautifulpicture.com website. Additionally, you may watch me on Rumble, and you may also listen to a podcast on Buzzsprout or Spreaker, all under the name Paint a Beautiful Picture. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. You may subscribe, and if you are interested in receiving notifications, please hit the notifications button.